Chef B Live here in our kitchen with my co-author and roommate Cynthia. And we're with her friend
Susanna.
Thank you for joining us here. And
I'm excited to make mac and cheese.
Yeah. And
mac and cheese.
I'm gonna do a little twist too. I didn't tell them this, but I'm gonna do a smoked version. So we'll just do a little twist on mac and cheese. And of course, this is raw, plant-based, dairy-free. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Sounds very yummy.
So let's just get started.
I'm excited. Okay.
Yeah. So
we have kelp noodles.
I'm going to use kelp noodles. Now, what I've done with the kelp noodles is I've actually soaked them in water with lemon juice. I took about one lemon per 2 bags of kelp juice. Of kelp noodles, and then I've soaked them in it for about an hour, and then I drained them really well. So that's basically I've put them in.
So why do you have to soak the kelp noodles?
Just basically help soften them a little bit.
All right.
Now I'm going to cut them up a little bit. Because I'm going to put them into the food processor. This is going to be the noodle, like the macaroni.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you blend the noodles too?
Yeah, so basically I'm going to take the food processor. I'm going to add the kelp noodles into the food processor. Cutting it is kind of crucial because
I don't think anybody adding kelp noodles to the food processor.
There's a little water.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I've been using kelp noodles in different ways, mock meats and stuff, using the food processor, which has been really fun. So
you put the kelp noodles in a food processor, and that gives it another texture and size.
It's going to break it up, and it's going to make it a lot more more like macaroni in a sense.
Gotcha.
I mean, really, how can we get it like macaroni in the raw world? We're trying to capture the texture a little bit.
It's all about taste and spices, though.
Absolutely.
Woo! What was that?
That's called raw and real. A little bit of water on my cutting board there. It's all good. It didn't get on. It didn't get into any of the
Sorry, the water
is
into the food anyway.
Exactly. Part of it. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pulse it. And pulsing it means that you're just gonna go like push it on and off and on and off.
On and off, on and off. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want it to process too much and get too, broken down. So I'm gonna pulse it probably like about 7 or 8 times, and then I'm gonna actually shake it a little bit. Which you can just take it off and stir it up as well. And then I'm gonna pulse it probably another 5 more times, 6 more times.
Oh wow, it cooks well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you looking for a bowl?
Yeah, can you grab me a bowl? Here, right here. So now, can you go ahead and put this in here?
I'll do.
Thank you. Here's a.
That's the rest, right? Okay.
So yeah, so we're gonna do the rest of it. Perfect.
Okay, doesn't need.
Yeah, we're good. We're gonna do more.
Okay.
It's all good. Thanks.
It's tiny. See how tiny this is?
Yeah. See, so
It's
now
it's tiny little.
it's broken it up.
It's broken it up quite a lot. It's tiny.
And when you actually, once you got the sauce, it definitely has a little bit of a clumpy effect. So it definitely makes like a noodle. So obviously it's a noodle. It's a kelp noodle.
Yeah.
But it's the closest that I've found for actually mocking like a macaroni noodle. I mean, without being able to get the actual shape. So we'll do the same thing. Actually, I'm pulsing it a little less because there was a little less kelp noodles in here. So I did it like 4 times instead of like 7 or 8.
So the more kelp noodles, the more you have to pulse, the less.
Absolutely, because it's more full.
If it's half only, then only half.
Absolutely.
Only 4 times. And look at that, it's perfect each time. I am pleasantly surprised.
Yay!
It's gonna be so yummy. Are you hungry or what? Yeah. Raw mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I'm excited for healthy food that's like junk healthy food.
Cool, we'll set this right here for a second. And now we're just gonna make the actual cheese, the sauce. So much of raw foods isn't what it is in the sauce, the dressings, So we're gonna actually use macadamia nuts and cashew nuts, but macadamia nuts we're making kind of like a mac and cheese.
And they're both soaked.
Yeah, they're both soaked.
Soak your nuts, people. Soak your nuts.
Yeah, even with the white nuts, even like cashews and I'm not even gonna feed into that one.
No, soak your nuts is really good for you.
I guess I just did. So, but the mac nuts is soaked for about 2 hours.
All right.
And then the truly raw cashews. Now these have been hand-holed, so they're a lot of cashews say raw, but they're not, and almonds as well. So these are actually truly raw, and these have been soaked for a couple hours as well. You don't have to really soak the white nuts like Brazil nuts, cashews, macadamia nuts, or even hemp seeds because they don't have enzyme inhibitors.
But it makes them softer, though,
yeah,
right?
it still makes them softer and makes them a lot easier to work with when you're making raw foods, and it also makes them more digestible.
All right,
Yeah.
so it's for digestion. Soak your nuts for digesting, people.
And especially if they have enzyme in them.
Especially then,
Yeah, yeah. So put the cashews in.
So what are the enzyme inhibitors for those that don't?
Enzyme inhibitors
What
are
would tell us then?
basically enzyme inhibitors are they are what protects the nut or seed, so that basically once it becomes, once it goes into contact with water, then it basically goes into its germination stage. So it releases the enzyme inhibitor, and then it starts its growing, its germination stage. So it basically protects the seed for whatever when it like lays to grow. So, and it's not really good for the human body as well. So now I'm going to put some, this is pink salt, the Himalayan salt.
Nice.
You can also use sea salt or
I
Celtic
prefer
salt.
that one though. 80, what is it? Some people say it's 85, some say it's 50, but it's full of minerals in it.
God, I love her. She's
So
such
good.
full of facts.
Yes.
Now I'm going to put some fresh garlic. And then this is, right here is a little bit of white pepper.
White pepper. Why not black? Why white? Is that?
Just for a little unique twist on it. It's a flavor choice. It's more of a flavor profile.
So the black and the,
choice.
what's the difference between the black and the white pepper?
Well, one's like the outside and the inside, from what I understand. I don't really know. I mean, from what I understand, it's the
But
inside and the outside.
flavor-wise?
Flavor-wise, they're just two different flavors. One has more kind of a muskier flavor. One has more kind of sharper, kind of a spicy flavor.
So the white has a spicy flavor?
Yeah, I would say it's more of a spicy.
Spicier. The white is spicier.
And the black I would kind of associate to being kind of musky, kind of like. And they're really broken down my actual description and explanation of black pepper. I guess I would say musky. So now I'm going to actually use red bell pepper.
Gotcha.
I've chopped up the red bell pepper and the garlic, so it blends easier.
Right.
I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. This is cold pressed olive oil, of course.
Of course.
You want to use cold pressed.
Because that's raw, people.
Absolutely.
Cold press is raw.
There's a little bit of lemon juice. Gives it a little tang.
Yeah, to give that little tangy, huh?
Totally. Now this is going to give it the smokiness. This is a smoked paprika.
May we smell it, please?
Please.
Oh, that's the tangy flavor. I never had smoky mac and cheese. It's going to be...
Me neither. That's another thing. This is totally an experiment.
And raw.
Actually, it's a creation.
It's a creation.
We're going to put a little bit of nutritional yeast. This gives it a cheesy flavor. You don't have to use it, but it will make it more cheesy.
Right. Oh, yeah. If you're ever like longing for cheese, nutritional yeast.
Yeah, and it's just a really good thing to, as far as turning people on. It's not raw, but it's like one of those ingredients uses little amounts here and there of, like truffle oil or agave. There's some ingredients that are just like really good to use as flavor enhancers.
Yeah, the main thing is to stay raw with veggies and all your nuts and all of that, and then like the flavors sometimes, you have to go for truffle oil and things like that.
It's all high raw still. So
it's very high raw.
now if you're going for seriously pure, like really hardcore and tuned, like you really have to get into it.
That is another video.
That's a whole other story. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of water.
Right. Just have green juice, right? That's purely raw.
Green juice is such a huge additive to someone's daily diet. I mean, I highly suggest it for anyone. So, you know what? I'm gonna have a little more water here in case I need to add some more.
I'm excited now.
But I do want it thick. And I'm starting it out slow, and then I'm gonna speed it up. So I can process it easier, and that way also the stuff doesn't come up all the sides. Both. But it plays a big part of flavor and color. Now as you can see, color is like, it's definitely getting a little more water. Now that it's broken down a bit, I can turn it up higher. Now at this point, I usually like to slow it down for a little bit, for at least 30 seconds or so, so it's like not heating up. It's processed, but I had it on high, and I don't want it to heat up too hot. It's good to also have a heat gun, I know what the feeling of like 100, 110, or 20 degrees feels like by experience, but it's good to have a heat gun and they're not that expensive to get.
We have to.
We have more visitors in our kitchen today. No. Perfect time for this. Done.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.
It's done.
It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here.
It's now. It's now. It's now.
Let me try it.
What the hell is it?
Well, Susanna first. I'll guess.
Please, guests. Wait. Hold on. Before you test it, because this is something that I'm just creating right now, I gotta make. I have to taste it.
Well, he is a genius. He just creates recipes out of thin air. I love
And
that.
you can get an idea of how.
Wait.
Somehow I'm guided. Oh, I'm sorry.
What about me?
I thought I put it on there, and I'm so
Ooh,
sorry.
It smells good. Okay. Smells amazing. Wow.
So cheers.
Smells
Cheers.
Cheers.
And a pound at the same time.
Pound. Smells like meat. Fine now.
It's good stuff. Like this is perfect.
Oh wow, it's amazing.
So now what we'll do, see how it has a mac and cheese but a smoky kind of flavor? Now what we'll do is we'll add it to. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add it to this
so
bigger
yummy,
bowl.
right? It's so simple. I keep telling people it's so simple to make a good sauce.
Absolutely. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do this. We're gonna add it together and mix it up.
Oh, that looks yummy.
Can you go ahead and stir this up, Cintia?
Sure. Oh,
Here,
with
use
this.
this. And I'm gonna use this right here to get this more out. Because we want all the cheese.
Yeah. Oh yes, I want all this
cheesy. You know I'm cheesy.
So what would you eat this with? Like a salad? Or like how would you serve this?
Well, you know, that is a good question, and that is also a good answer. Salad is perfect to eat with this.
Salad is the answer for all our dishes, right?
Yeah.
Let me get some more.
I know, man. I get all that. I mean, not man.
It's okay.
Goddess, woman.
I'm a dude friend, I know. Okay, you can call me man. You kind of like that. Man, I finally get to do
You
it.
can call me woman.
Woman, this is
Woman.
awesome. Woman, this sauce is the
No.
bomb.
Woman. Okay, so here, let's give you a little final beeline. This is the stir of the cauldron. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay,
Nutritional yeast is not the same as like regular yeast, right?
Brewer's yeast and nutritional yeast are two different things, and I would suggest to not use brewer's yeast because they're not the same thing flavor-wise. A lot of people end up getting brewer's yeast.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
nutritional yeast has like
not the
the
same.
cheesy taste. So you can make cheeses with it, and it's great for that.
Absolutely. So here, let's do a bite before we shout out. Yeah, full
Looks yummy.
and let's
Thank you. Cheers.
let's do let's do something like that has something to do with Three Musketeers or something.
Yay!
Yeah, three hands together.
1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Let's
Let's
see.
try it. Should be okay.
Yummy. Yummy.
A good thing to do is balance the salt because you want to make sure you use enough salt because of the
Yeah.
kelp noodles. So
It's
it
like
has
coffee,
enough.
right?
Yeah.
Have a great one. Thank you so much. We love you.
This is so worth doing. Is this worth doing?
This is delicious. Totally worth